Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Stark speaking, your English teacher at MNVA, and I'm going to talk today about preparing for the MCA standardized tests and hopefully reducing a bit of anxiety that you might have for the test coming up. I'm going to go over a number of tips with you about test taking, and hopefully you can take a few of these tips and they will help you to do the best you can at taking the MCA tests. So the night before you test, make sure that you go to bed at your regular time, if not even a little bit earlier. Make sure that you don't have anything on your mind that's stressing you out, like family or friend issues, and try to kind of go to bed with a clear mind. If you have any concerns about testing, maybe the day before, talk with your parents about them before the day of the test, and they can kind of talk you through it. Next morning, the morning of the test, start out the day well with a good, healthy breakfast. Make sure that you eat your normal size breakfast so that you are kind of still on a schedule and ready to take the test. Also, think of what you will do maybe when you get home, when you're done with the test, and think positively. That will kind of help ease any anxiety that you might have about taking the test. When you get to taking the test, if you have multiple choice questions on the testing material and you don't understand the directions for how to take the test, you can ask your proctor or the teachers there for help. Of course, we won't be able to help you through any of the question materials themselves, but we can restate and help you with directions for taking the test. Make sure that when you're taking the test and going through the questions that you read the questions clearly and carefully, and that you also look at all the answer choices before you mark anything. That will help make sure that you know what the choices are and choose the best one that matches with the question. Make sure that you pace yourself. So don't spend too much time on any one question because it can kind of stress you out and you might second guess yourself. So do the easiest questions, the ones you know for sure first. And then I believe on the MCA test this year you can go back and complete ones that you weren't so sure about or you want to double check later on before you submit the test. For your answers, I'd recommend that usually your first choice is oftentimes the correct one. So I wouldn't really go back and ponder over the questions too much. But there is, I believe, that opportunity to go back before you submit a set of questions. So you can use that opportunity if you feel you really need to change an answer. This is something I often tell my students when they come in to work with me, so this might sound a bit familiar, but when you're working through a multiple choice question, for example, see if there's any that you can cross out. Once you've looked at all the answer choices, are there any that you just know for sure was not the correct answer that maybe has nothing to do with the question? You can cross that out, and that will help narrow it down a bit for you. If you can eliminate maybe two of the wrong choices that you know for sure are wrong, then that'll help you and give you a greater chance of choosing the correct answer. When you're answering questions, try not to just guess blindly. Do the best that you can. Make the most logical answer choice. And again, if you finish early for the test, you still have some time, go back and check those answers before you submit them to make sure that they are, in fact, the answers that you think are correct, that you're happy with your answers. Keywords. So for when you're looking at a question or the answer choices, look for certain words that, or phrases, I should say, that stand out to you that might clue you into the correct answer, that might go with the text you're reading. And whereas there may not be those keywords or phrases in other answer choices that you could also cross out, look for those little clues in the language that help you to narrow down and find the best and most logical choice. So if a certain word or phrase isn't really in the text and it doesn't really make any sense, that might be a good clue that it's not a correct answer. And again, this is something that might be familiar to you because I tell this to a lot of students who come in to me for help with these things. So then, when you're working through the questions, again, read them very carefully. Make sure that you understand what the question is asking. It's easy sometimes to skim over a question and not fully understand all of the parts that it's asking you. So make sure that you are clearly responding to all parts of that question that's being asked and find the answer that matches and answers all parts of that question. That will help you make the best choice. When you are reading certain passages for your reading test, I really recommend, and again, this is something I tell students, that you read the questions first. Then you go and read the passage. This will help make it quicker and easier for you to spot the answers in the text and know exactly what you're looking for. When there are several questions about a certain reading that you're working through, again, look at those clues, those keywords and phrases in the questions and the answers, and then see if they match with the passage that you are reading. And that might help you kind of narrow things down and choose the best answer as well. And if any time remains with your questions, spend it on those questions, again, that you know nothing or almost nothing about and you're just not sure about them. Then you can kind of take a little bit more time to try to figure out those as best as you can. And again, remember that oftentimes your first answer, your first choice is usually the correct one. So don't hem and haw over it too much. Again, don't spend too much time rewriting, re-guessing, or obsessing over answers. It's best to do the ones that you know right away and check those off. And then if you have time, you can go back and recheck the ones you weren't sure about. And again, don't worry too much about this test and finding every single correct answer and making it perfect. Just do your best that you can do with the knowledge you have right now. If you find that you're tensing up a lot and you're getting too stressed out, just relax a little bit. Take a couple of deep breaths. Concentrate on your breathing in and out for a few seconds. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. And then go back when you feel a little more relaxed to finish answering the questions. On the other hand, don't do any big exercises, any arm type exercises or getting up and doing exercises because it could disturb the other students who are also trying to take the test and also trying their best and concentrating on it. And remember, it's okay if you don't know everything. These tests are designed to see the limits of what you know right now. And what I, again, just encourage you to do is go into it with a positive attitude that you can do it, and then just do the very best that you can on the test with the knowledge you have. Okay? If you do have any questions about taking this test, about the MCAs, or about preparing for it, more strategies and whatnot, you can ask me or your English teacher if you have a different English teacher, and I would be happy to work with you. Thank you for tuning in, and I wish you the best of luck on the MCA test this year.